Thank you, Clywyd. I think the views of this chamber are very clear with regard to this bill and have been expressed by all parties in previous debates. However, I have still not been swayed by any of the arguments presented by them, and I still believe that the minimum service level strikes bill is not only right for the people of the United Kingdom, but is also right for the people of Wales, protecting vital services during times of industrial dispute that support our most vulnerable people. That said, in terms of legislative competence, as far as I can see it, the bill is clearly making changes in respect of regulating employment rights and duties and industrial relations, and this is undoubtedly not in the legislative competence of the Welsh Government. This Act will not affect the devolved policies of education, health or transport. You have stated in your position, Minister, that consent is required to the extent that Clause 1 introduces the schedule which enables regulations to be made in the categories of health services, education services, fire and rescue services. But, and you have to agree, that this government already complies to the regulations in these areas under existing UK laws, such as the Trade Union and Labour Relations Act 1992. So your point here is really null and void, and in my mind you could only use this argument if no part of the health, education, fire and rescue or transport services complied with any UK laws, which it does not. However, we need to find the points that we agree on, and I believe we can all support the notion that it is wrong that vulnerable people, and in particular children, are the ones who are most exposed to loss of service during industrial disputes. And we need to recognise the need for a more robust system in place that will see children not losing out on their education and the support services that are dovetailed around it, and that we will people who are in need of medical treatment not left waiting on ever-expanding waiting lists in Wales. This government's ethos is about encouraging positive behaviour change, but this simply will not be achieved if people are not 100% confident that they can rely on schools being open, long-awaited for appointments being provided, and public transport being reliable. And the truth is that people won't accept anything but 100% reliability. So until you get this reliability, you will never get the behavioural changes that this Welsh Government aspires to. We all agree that industrial disputes will happen, and we all agree that the withdrawal of labour is a fundamental right in trying to achieve fairer and safer working conditions. Indeed, I'm extremely proud of my political party's record within this field. Not only have our reforms democratised trade unions by ensuring that every member is balloted, we have also legitimised trade unions in law, and we have outlawed the operation of closed shop unions. We have even introduced groundbreaking labour reforms, such as ensuring that workers and employers are equal before law in labour contracts, that workers are given contracts of employment and paid holiday, and that those workers with disabilities are fully protected and can never be discriminated against in the field of employment. So clearly we're all working together to protect and improve workers' rights. So I'm curious to know, Minister, why you think it's acceptable that people can lose their jobs or have to use their precious and hard-fought-for holiday entitlement because they cannot get to work during the public transport strike, or that children who have gone through the COVID pandemic can lose out on yet more education because their school is closed. What is interesting is that for the most part we already have this system in place, as voluntary minimum service levels can be agreed ahead of strikes. But as the Minister will know, these are not widely used across key sectors, and where they are, their use can often be inconsistent, and that is why it is right to use legislation to enforce it. And this is why we need this bill. By applying minimum service levels via regulation, we don't take anything away from striking workers. Workers are still able to continue to exercise their fundamental right to strike, and we can help mitigate the impact of industrial action on those not directly involved in the dispute. This is why the Welsh Conservatives are urging everyone here to support this LCM. Thank you.